Now I know what you're thinking, research, math, federal budgets. Promise, like drunk Lindsay Lohan at a party, it's gonna be very easy, all right? Now we have our federal budget pocket protector, my federal budget glasses, and my federal budget shot. Marco Rubio. Now, all the money that you see here represents the federal budget. That's a very big budget. So this is the money that the government spends to operate. You know, things like pay federal salaries, social security, transportation, research, healthcare, food stamps, and, you know, the occasional hooker for the Secret Service. And of course, we can't forget protecting the border. So the actual size of this year's federal budget is around $4 trillion. That's a lot of trillions. So let's say that these puppies here are $4 trillion. Now, 85% of the federal budget comes from your favorite taxes. So we're gonna take half of that is 50, half of the half is 75, plus another 10% is 85% federal budget. Voila. Now the rest of the money that we get from the federal budget, 15%, this is the money that we borrow from places like banks, foreign governments, yes, like China, and from people like you and me when we buy treasury bonds. Now, if you don't know what that is, andale, Google it. Now, how do we spend all of this paper dough? Can the president spend it any way he wants to? No. As much as they like to say, he is not the king and he cannot spend it any way he wants to. There are rules on how you can spend all this money. And who comes up with those rules? Yup, the Congress. According to those rules, this money is divided into 3 different groups. You have mandatory spending, discretionary spending, and interest on the debt. Now, mandatory spending accounts for around 65% of the federal budget, and that is around $2.5 trillion. Discretionary spending accounts for around 29% of the federal budget, and that is around $1.1 trillion. And the rest, 6%, this goes to paying off interest on the national debt. Here you go, China, $252 billion. Oof, I need another shot. Ah, Ted Cruz. So now to the nitty-gritty, mandatory spending. And this is the money that the government spends on benefits only. So stuff like Social Security, Medicare, veteran benefits, unemployment benefits, transportation, and agriculture. Discretionary spending is called that because it is spent at the discretion of the government. It's the only part of the federal budget that is not mandatory. So here we have housing, education, energy, environment, foreign aid, national security, and the big enchilada of them all, military spending. And by the way, do you know how much we spend on the military? Well, now that you ask, I'll tell you. Some 55% of the discretionary spending goes to the military. That's some $600 billion. Here you go, Lockheed Martin. Here you go, Boeing. Have fun. So do you remember the $252 billion that we used earlier to pay off interest? Well, that accounts for 6% of the federal budget. Now, all of that is used to pay interest on all of the loans that the government has accumulated throughout the years, and that is known as the national debt. And how big is that, you ask? $18 trillion. I need another shot. Ah, thanks, Obama. So you see, it wasn't that bad. So now you know all there is to know about the federal budget. And you know who digs that? Chicks. I'm just kidding. Now you really do know all about the federal budget. If you want to find out more, check out the links below. Do not forget to subscribe and share this video. My name is Rolo, and this is Más Politica. Salud! Ah, Grandpa.